This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million. He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
I just finished traveling Southeast Asia for 41 days, and I usually always get sick when I travel, and quite frankly, eating is difficult for me. It's hard to find a restaurant, and I'm spoiled in Austin with my personal chef. Well, I took these little packets with me this time, 30 of them, in my carry-on suitcase. They kept me totally healthy with 11 different secret ingredients. You can see them at nathanlatka.com/juice. I'll tell you more later on in the show. That's nathanlatka.com/juice. This is episode 669, and coming up tomorrow morning, the CEO of Betterment joins me. And I asked John Stein, the CEO, flat out, why isn't Warren Buffett recommending Betterment over Vanguard? Now Betterment's having success. They passed 200,000 investors, and he reveals how much in assets under management they're doing. I'll give you a hint. It's above $7 billion. Tune in to find out. Good morning, everybody. My guest this morning is Dean Graziosi. He knows how to create success. From extremely humble beginnings, he started with a firewood business in high school to a collision repair shop and his first real estate deal before he turned 20. From there, he went on to create a multi-million-dollar real estate business, which we'll dive into, became a New York Times best-selling author multiple times, 16 years every day on TV, and is one of the most watched real estate and success trainers of our generation. He maximized the success and profits in each of these endeavors along his evolution, and his businesses and brand have generated nearly $1 billion in revenue. He's obsessed with sharing the success habits he's learned along this journey with the world. Dean, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. Let's do it, man. And that guy sounds really awesome. So
yeah, he's a cool dude, huh?
Yeah, he sounds cool.
Am I hired?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good. So let's break. There's a lot of places we could start here. I definitely want to talk about the book and how you got the book deal. Okay. I want to talk about the real estate in your first deal. Take me first, though. Did you go to high school? I mean, did you go to college, or was the firewood business doing super well? You skipped it.
I skipped college.
Okay.
Yep. Firewood was in high school, and right out of high school, I was actually fixing beat up cars and flipping them.
Okay. So walk me through that. Like, how old were you? And tell me a story about one of these cars that you bought and flipped and made money on.
So 17, I 16 and 17, I would just buy a wrecked car. I had a little garage that I'd work out of. I'd clean it up. I mean, literally, I painted cars, sanded fenders, fixed engines, changed oil, and then, buy it cheaper because it was wrecked, clean it up, fix it, sell it, make a profit, and go back and do another one.
What would you buy these for on average?
Sometimes $500, $1,000. Then they went to $2,000, then $5,000. Then I started a collision repair shop, and then a used auto collision business. And then I got my first real estate deal at 18. No money down, just started knocking on a lot of doors, and finally got this great old lady, Mrs. Laprezzti, to give me a deal with no money down. So I paid her by the month, and I renovated that place and went on to do more and subdivided land and had lots of apartments and.
So what was her name?
That was the early 20s journey.
Mrs. Laprezzti.
I lived in upstate New York. It seemed like everybody was Italian. So.
Okay, so Mrs. Laprezzti. So a few questions here. First off, how did you decide what street to go door knocking on?
So I went on. I said door knocking, but it was really Mrs. Manisi, who was my social studies teacher in high school, just always saw that I was energetic, and she was also a real estate agent. So she would just give me leads nonstop of people that had a house that maybe wasn't selling, and she'd go, maybe she was a great mentor. She was an awesome lady. She was about 70 when I was in my early, before 20. And she suggested Mrs. Laprezzti along with probably 20 other people that couldn't sell, and maybe they'd do a creative deal. So I just kept asking. I'd be honest and say, I don't have money up front, but I'm a hard worker. I'll pay the payments every month, and kind of figured out that if the people buy from you, learn from you, love you, adore you if they feel understood. And what I learned at that young age was when I went and listened and they told me what they were looking for, what their problems were, if I could solve their problems. And Mrs. Laprezzti just wanted out of the house. She wanted to move to Florida, and I could solve that by giving her enough money each month for the house to get her condo down in Florida. We did it. It worked out perfect.
What'd you get her per month?
$2,500 a month, but it had 4 apartments in it.
Okay, so is a 4-unit, $2,500 a month for how many months?
3 years. So I had a 3-year balloon. So basically I didn't know, now we call it wholesaling or lease to own. Back then I remember saying I bought it on contract. So no money down, $2,500 a month, because she needed about $2,000 a month for all her expenses. And then I just
for the condo.
For the condo and her lifestyle in Florida. And then what I found out is when her husband died, he gave her a price. It was, I think, $220,000. It's like you get $220 or don't sell this house before he passed away. So I found out that's what she needed. She needed the money in Florida. I gave her the full price she was asking for, but I got it with no interest. And I got it with no money down. So I didn't care that I was probably paying, I don't know, probably 15, 20 grand too much, but it worked out fine because, I was able to pay her over time and I put my sweat equity in.
So did all the total payments you paid her added up to the 220, or was there interest on top of it?
No interest, zero interest.
Okay, got it. So she didn't care if that took you 10 years to pay off.
She didn't, but I had a 3-year balloon. So at the end of 3 years, I promised I'd pay her in full. By the end of the 3 years, I had it fully rented, renovated. I was able to get a bank loan and pay her off, and I kept it for probably 5 or 6 years.
And what was it making in total top line rent for you once it was fully rented?
For about 44. This is years ago. God, this is like 30 years ago. It was like $4,200 a month, something like that.
Okay, that's great. $4,200 a month, and then what? You still have that today, or you sold it?
No, I sold that. Yeah, I sold.
Brutal. Yeah, you're supposed to keep your first baby.
I know. I should have. I had a lot of first ones, but I still own about 400 houses right now. 380 is the last count.
So how did it scale? I mean, we're going to focus on real estate here for about 5 minutes, then switch over to the best-selling author and everything else. But yeah, so what happened? Like, and full transparency, I'm being very selfish right here. I'm about 2 years behind you, right? I did my first deal when I was 21. Did my second deal when I was 23, which was
awesome, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
and I want to grow it. So how did you go from, the one place, 4 bedrooms, 4 units to scale?
Okay, so I'll tell you, I had a dad who was born during the Depression time. Great dad, great example, hard worker, but never made a lot of money. And his whole thought was every dime you have, you got to keep, right? Pay cash when you can. And I was lucky enough to realize that wasn't working for him. So when I got that first place.
Wait, what wasn't working for him? Paying cash when you can?
Yeah, my dad probably made 35, 40 grand a year, the most ever in his life.
Doing what?
Cars. He was a mechanic and a collision repair shop guy.
Got it.
So how I evolved is maxing out and pulling out the money out of each house that I had equity in. So I got that house done. I refied and pulled out as much cash as I could. I took that money and went and got the next one. I got a old rundown ex mansion and I put 10 apartments in it. I lived in one of the apartments. I renovated it. I lived in it. Not that you're going to do this. You're on another level. This is where I was at this time. I renovated that. I got all 10 apartments rented. So I was living for free, collecting that income. I went and refinanced that, took as much cash as I could, went and bought more apartments. Then at the time it was late 80s, early 90s, where I lived in upstate New York. Land was going crazy. It kind of hit the rim of being people would commute from New York City. So then I started buying raw land. I'd go through the process of subdividing it, sell some lots. Then I started building houses on the land. So it evolved from that one house to, apartments that gave me cash flow. I took that cash flow. I just kept pumping it all in. I literally, Nathan, I didn't take a dime back then. I didn't live any different than I did when I was making nothing because I just wanted to push it forward.
Well, it's a flywheel. This is what I want to understand. I want to understand the velocity of your flywheel. So I totally understand what you're saying. Like my bank right now dedicated to real estate, it just keeps growing because my things are cash flow positive. And if it keeps just doing the same amount with an average increase in rents of about 5% per month, like I'll eventually have about, 200, 300 grand in that specific account where I'll go do like my next deal on, right? How did you, what were the kickers that sped up your flywheel? Was it increasing rents? Was it doing renovations so that appraised values came in higher, which allowed you to pull more equity out? Like what accelerants on your flywheel did you use?
Dude, all great questions. So, no, I wasn't that detailed back then, especially. I mean, I can tell you where I'm at now, right? That's a different world. But back then, as I evolved, it was really just hustling for the next deal, pulling out as much cash as I could and taking that cash and making creative deals. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have people that backed me. The bank was really doing great for me, but I was building up the cred to walk in and just ask for money, right? So I would just, and so the one thing I would suggest for anybody listening, Nathan, and even you, is there's always creative deals. Everybody right now, real estate's hot. I know we're going to talk about other stuff. Real estate's hot right now. So if you go after your buddy or a friend or someone who's a real estate agent and say, send me cheap deals, you're kind of screwed because everybody's doing that. So it's really about finding off-market deals. And there's some cool ways to do that. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Name one.
So I would just say, Bandit signs, stupid little signs on the side of the road. I have them all over the country right now that say, I buy houses for cash, any condition, call me. People hate doing it. It seems like I don't do it personally. I hire someone off Craigslist to put them out for me. And probably 25% of our great deals come from a stupid little yellow bandit sign on a corner by Walmart or Target.
Fascinating. Okay, I want to wrap up real estate before I go into best-selling books and all this other jazz you're working on. Give me current snapshot, though. So what is monthly rent roll across all your properties?
400, 380 grand.
And what's the total portfolio? Like how many units is that again?
That's about 380. Yeah, it's right about there because it's about $1,000 a month per house that I own. So probably around 300. I think 382 is the last count. I had up to 1,000, but I bought them all in the down market, so it's hard not to sell them.
Yeah. Okay, so 380 units, and if you add up total market value of all those, where are you at?
20.
About 20-ish, 20 million?
About 20 million.
Okay,
yeah.
And how levered are you? I mean, are you fully leveraged in all these?
No, probably half.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So you're not following the same strategy you used to, where you take out, keep the 20% in to avoid PMI and put the rest into something else. So you're about 50% in all these.
I do, because these kind of that.
Wait, you do what? You do what?
My kids. They're for my kids. So those are they're the long haul. So I got those somewhat leveraged, and literally I'm looking into doing a big refi right now because I want to be prepared for the next time the market goes down in a couple of years. So I'm probably going to pull out a big chunk here in the next 90 to 120 days.
Okay, so even now you're still trying. You have about 10 million in equity in the $20 million total value, but you wish that you had less. You're looking at trying to redo that now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it. Interesting. Cool. Let's go into books. A lot of people say, why would you ever write a book? You just lose a lot of money. You take a lot of time. Why do you write so many books?
Because I'm obsessed on marketing and sales. So I know how to sell it. You're 1,000% right. What is it? 95% of all books in Barnes & Noble haven't sold more than 500 copies. It's discouraging from the outside. So I would just say, if anybody's thinking of writing a book, it's the obsession on as much time, effort, energy, and pain that goes into writing the book. You got to triple that on the marketing and strategy to actually sell it. And
have you self-published?
I have. My last 2 books were self-published.
Okay. Have you ever worked with a publisher?
I have.
What one? And what was that like? Like, was your first book deal with a publisher or self-published?
First was with a publisher.
Okay. So what advance did you negotiate?
I didn't want an advance. I wanted a better deal on the book because I knew I was going to sell a lot of them.
Okay.
So
what cut?
Upfront. I used to get 35 or 40% of gross sales. So
great.
Most deals around 2 to 3 books. I got $5 a book.
That's great. What was that first book title, by the way?
Totally Fulfilled.
Totally Fulfilled. And what was your last one?
My newest one right now is Millionaire Success Habits.
Okay, so tell us, self-published that one or with a publisher?
Millionaire Success Habits is self-published.
Okay, and when does it go?
2 New York Times bestsellers. So
been there, done that.
There's not to say that like to be flippant. It doesn't really benefit you. Most of the publishers don't know how to market. They rely on you to market. And the cool part is that back then, especially my second book, which I sold 1 million copies of, I had an infomercial running every single day offering the book on TV. So people that didn't like buying off an infomercial would still see the marketing, and then they'd go to the bookstore and buy it. So it was a win-win. And so I was able to really compound book sales through that. So you definitely need a marketing mechanism if you're going to write a book.
What is your most effective? Like, what are you doing? Obviously, you're doing podcasts. But what you think you're going to be the most successful but unconventional marketing tactic you're using on your newest book, Success Habits?
So I would say is being able to give it away for free. I have a new infomercial that's launching with Larry King, who interviewed me. It's a great show. I love it. He made a big impact on my life years ago, so it was cool to do a show. That's another story. So my infomercial will give me the biggest momentum.
And Dean, you can't just name drop Larry King without giving me some context. How do you meet Larry King?
So a mutual friend. So a mutual friend, we ended up having dinner. I asked him, I said, you made an impact on me 8 years ago and you don't even know it. Would you interview me for my new book? I sent him my book. He read it. He loved it. And he was in my studio 40 days later, we were filming the show. So
I love that.
It's pretty cool. I'll send you a link. You'll like it.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. And we'll link it up in the show notes too.
Yeah. And I'll tell you really quick what you got. Can I take 2 minutes to tell the story? So 8 years ago, I'm watching Larry King interview Joel Osteen.
Yep.
So Joel Osteen, Larry asked the big question. I'm a Jew. I don't believe Jesus is the son of God. Am I going to hell? Like, talk about a freaking question that just stops people in their tracks. Joel Osteen's face dropped. He looked at his wife and, he said something like, I'm not God. I'm not going to play God. But that moment inspired me and it changed my life, because I said, imagine if Larry offered Joel's book on his show. So I went out and hired an interview guy. I built the Larry King set. I bought the Larry King microphone. My book was Be a Real Estate Millionaire. I did the first interview show that ever hit TV. No scripts, no teleprompters, no fancy voiceover, like not the old school infomercial. And that show changed my life. That show I did broke $100 million in sales, helped me sell 1 million books. So Larry's inspired me, and he didn't know it. And when I told him that story and I gave him the credit, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be the person I am in the business doing the momentum I am without your inspiration. So it was a really great thing. So when you interviewed me, I was literally nervous for the first time in 7 years on camera. So anyway, that was the story.
I love that. That's great. So and is Larry King just doing, like, where is his show syndicated these days? He's doing like a traveling interview show or what?
Yeah, he's doing kind of travel, only online, and
Okay.
he deserves more momentum. You know, he just doesn't have the right. We're actually helping him with his marketing right now. We just started. So so we did a show. He interviewed me on my book, Millionaire Success Habits. We tested it already. The show's a winner, and we're going to roll out here in the next month or so.
That's great. So you're doing these books. By the way, when you did go the advanced route, I mean, did you ever go with these major publishers and just try and negotiate a big upfront advance just to see what you could do? You always negotiated for more percentage on the sales.
I did because I had faith I was going to sell the book.
Yep.
And here's the thing: if they give you a big upfront and you don't sell any books, you got to give it back. In a lot of cases, you got to give it back. So it's like, I'd rather bet on me, and because it's cool to say I got $1 million up front, and I think I could get $1 million up front because of all the books I sold. It's really easy, but it's like I still have to do the work. So I know that I produce a book so if you get Millionaire Success Habits, it's a hardcover. It's not an ebook that's just a lead gen. It's the best book I ever written, and it's a hardcover. It's amazing, and I still ship it that way. But with Facebook and the opportunity with social media to touch people that are in that group that want to be more successful, want to make more money, want success habits, we could target them and offer them that book, and I don't have to get $2-3 a book. I can keep the whole thing.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Dean, let's wrap up here. Whoa, hold on. Before I get into the famous 5, you launched a new thing called growth.com, and I think you've partnered with a few people. What's this business, and why are you launching it?
Okay, growth is amazing. Growth is just for people who have the ability to find success trainers that are qualified. We kind of vet the best success trainers. So we create courses, and we also have high performance coaching. So we're doing about 300 coaching sessions a week with hour-long. It's all high performance. It's not money, how to make more money. It's not personal. It's not life coaching where it's like, how was your week? It's step by step. How do you become a high achiever? What are the ingredients of a high performer? And we take people through this path. It's really awesome. Last week we broke 220,000 in sales for the week. So that company's growing, and it's on its way I think that's going to be one of the biggest things we've ever created.
How do you guys split the revenue? I think you're partnered with Brendan Burchard and some other folks. How do you guys kind of think about income?
What's that? How do we split it up?
How do you split it? How do you think about it? Yeah. Where do you put the money? How do you drive do you reinvest in the company? Do you put it into other investments?
That company, 100% of the money is going back in. We want to make that a $200 million company, change a lot of lives. We're all on sometimes you evolve back. We're really on a mission to give people the true tools to change their lives. We get 1,000 comments a month. It's insanity of what it's doing. So it's a feel good. It's a legacy thing. So we might sell that company in 3 years or run it until we're 100. We're not sure yet, but it's growing.
You guys split it 33, 33, 33?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I always say that's a lazy way to do it because no one's ever exactly equal.
We're not. And we all had to go in saying, sometimes I'm going to be the lead. Sometimes, like my partner, Ethan, he already built a big business and sold it. He's operations. That's not my unique ability. My unique ability is sales and getting people excited to go in and buy. Brendan's got his, 6 million followers on Facebook. So a lot of his people want next level education. They raise their hand. We call them and get them into high performance coaching. So the partnerships actually worked out aming. It's easy. They're great guys. So knock on wood on that one. Believe me, I've had my bad ones. So you learn
I hear you.
Learn what not to do.
So you've got, just to make sure I understand kind of a bunch of your income streams, you've got the property, $400,000 per month, about 50% levered. You've got growth.com. You've got the books. Anything else?
Yeah, I started a $100,000 a year mastermind with my buddy Joe Polish.
Okay.
We just started it. We said we were going to cap it at 15 people. We put 15 people in a week, and we got like 20 on a waiting list. So we're going to probably ramp that up to, I think we're going to cap that at 50 people, but that's fun. You get, when someone pays $100,000 to come 3 times a year, sometimes they're not paying for who's in the room. They're paying for who's not in the room. So you get nothing but A players that are doing, 20 to 500 million a year. And we all come together and share our greatest breakthroughs. And it's been fantastic. That one's like a passion to be a part of that.
See, that's interesting. So, for example, a tip you gave on the show, right? Hire people off Craigslist, put up these signs on street corners. That's how you get a lot of your great real estate deals. That is a tactic that, like, if the whole world knew about it and executed it, it really hurts your business. Why share that? Like, why do coaching? Why not just use your tactics that you know are working and just keep building your business?
Well, we do both. And the thing is, too, so one thing to remember, Nathan, masterminds have literally been the biggest advantage of my life, hands down, is because when you go and share one of your greatest strategies, you have 10, 15, 20 other people in the room that share their greatest, and it multiplies. So what I might give away, the world is so big, it barely affects my numbers, right? Or if it could, I don't have any way to equate that. But I know what I've taken away buys me time and buys me money at a discount. And, it's been, for me, masterminds have been the greatest lift of anything I've ever done.
So guys, I'm so glad to be back in Austin. I just got back from a major tour of Southeast Asia. Went to Sydney, Bangkok, Bali, and Japan. And, I always get sick when I travel. And this particular trip, my gosh, 15 different airports, 20 different hotels. I mean, imagine flushing in airport bathrooms. I was worried about germs and getting all the nutrition I need. I mean, finding a restaurant in Japan, difficult because nothing's in English. So it was hard enough to figure out the train system. But my point is, I had a guy named Drew Canoli on the show who said, Nathan, if you're concerned about that, take these little green packets with you. You just mix them once per day with water. They'll keep you super healthy. You get all your nutrients, and they'll keep you from getting sick. So I took them. And guys, they worked unbelievably well. I got no sickness, just mixed them with water once per day. They didn't make my water bottles all sticky. That's like nice. A lot of these mixers, they make them sticky. It was very clean and smooth. Took them once per day, never got sick. So they've got 11 superfoods, and they're perfect if you're not traveling, but you're just on the go from your office to work. So you can check them out at nathanlatka.com/juice. That's nathanlatka.com/juice. Okay, Top Tribe, I have to tell you, many people go, Nathan, you came out of nowhere. Your website's growing so fast. How'd you do it? The answer is simple. So I use HostGator. I don't know if you guys know that, but I use HostGator. And the reason I do, they have like about 4,500 free templates I can use because I don't code. They've got a great e-commerce plugin. And guys, I bug the heck out of their support. They've got 24/7 support, which I love. So what I've done is I've worked with them. You guys know I make great deals. If you go to hostgator.com/Nathan, you can sign up, get your own domain for 30% off and a 45-day money-back guarantee. Okay, again, I make great deals for you guys. Go to hostgator.com/Nathan to grab that now. Such a healthy viewpoint. Dean, let's wrap up with the famous five. You ready?
You got it.
These are like easy questions compared to what I've thrown at you. Okay, number one, what's your favorite business book?
It's not really a business book, but I'm in love with The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And his next book is called The Surrender Experiment. And it really is business because it gets your head clear, gets you out of your thoughts to focus on getting in flow and taking your business to another level. So The Untethered Soul would be it.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying currently?
Not really. I follow leaders sometimes, so I'm just going to say something completely different. But I just got done reading a book called Endurance about Shackleton's journey to the South Pole in 1890. It was insanity. The guy was shipwrecked for a year and a half and didn't let one person die because of his leadership style. So that was a powerful book. So I'd say right now, as a leader, Shackleton was a pretty badass dude in 1890.
I love that. Number three, is there a favorite online tool you have, like HostGator?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
6 to 8.
Okay, pretty healthy.
Eight's probably enough. Probably 6, 7.
All right. And what's your situation, man? You married, single, you have kids?
Yeah, married, amazing wife and 2 incredible kids. My favorite thing.
I thought you were going to say 2 amazing wives for a second.
No, that'd be cool too, but no. 2 amazing kids, 8 and 10 years old. I coach baseball and go to their dance. It's
amazing. That's the
greatest gift of my life. Hands down.
And how old are you, Dean?
I am 48.
All right, take us home here. Last question. Take us back 28 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old wood chopping self knew?
Don't believe your thoughts. They lie to you most of the time. If you could just observe your thoughts and throw away the shit that doesn't serve you, man, you'd just go a lot faster.
Man, guys, there you have it with Dean. What a winner. What a great interview. Back when he was 17, buying cars for $500, working on them, sweat equity, good old sweat equity, flipping them to $2,000, saved up cash, did his first deal in 18, got that from a woman named Miss Laprezzti, got that deal from his math teacher. Again, put out there what you want in the world. It's going to come find you. Did that deal. Works creative a creative negotiation doing where he paid her $2,500 a month. She needed $2,000 to do what she wanted to do. Did that for 3 years, then paid her in full with a loan at the end of that balloon. Eventually grew that to $4,200 a month in top line revenue. Obviously, then sold it. Now, real estate business is doing about $400,000 per month in revenue across 380 units, $20 million market value, levered about 10 million equity in that. Trying to figure out how to pull more cash out to do more deals. Also has growth.com, partner with a lot of successful people. Has his mastermind, put 10 people, 15 people in for $100,000 a pop. Also, the book's doing extremely well. Go find his latest, again, Success Habits. We'll link that in the show notes. Dean, thank you for taking us to the top.
Hey, Nathan, thank you, man. And keep up the good work. You're doing amazing stuff out there.
That's so nice of you, man. Appreciate it. If you enjoyed Dean today, go back and listen to Renee yesterday with Bill.com. And I asked Renee, I say, Renee, will you beat Intuit at the small business fintech game? Many investors believe he will. It would mean the world to me if you guys got any value from this episode, if you would go leave a review on iTunes right now and then subscribe. You know, I hustle like heck to get these episodes out every freaking day for you guys. And trust me, I love it. I would do it with no listeners. But boy, oh boy, it makes my day and it makes my team's day when we see great reviews and get your feedback. So thanks so much. Okay, Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google Ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan.